Lads and ladies, welcome back, and let's talk about Black Ops 7. So yesterday was the Gamescom 2025 opening ceremony, and as you likely already know, one of the, and I'm holding up air quotes here, one of the big announcements was supposed to be a Call of Duty Black Ops 7 reveal. I streamed the entire event live on my Twitch channel, and I watched the, again, holding up air quotes here, big reveal, and learned effectively nothing new. Then, after the event, the brilliant marketing minds at Activision decided to stealth drop a blog post that contained all of the real new information about Black Ops 7. And because I know you probably have more important things to do than parse through a giant wall of text, I have already done that for you, pulled out all of the important bits of information, and I'm going to give you that information right now. Starting with the campaign. So, as far as the storyline goes, we now know that Black Ops 7 is going to be a direct sequel to not only Black Ops 2, but also Black Ops 6. So, what the heck does that mean? Well, basically, they are combining the storylines from both Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 6, and they're writing Black Ops 7 as if both of those games happened within the same timeline. So imagine all the events of Black Ops 6 with the guild and the weird zombie gas. All that stuff takes place in, I believe, the 90s. Then you fast forward to the year 2025 in the same universe, and you have all of the events of Black Ops 2 with Raul Menendez and everything that happened there. And then Black Ops 7 is going to be 10 years after that. So the Black Ops 7 storyline is going to incorporate all of the lore that is contained within Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 2 and just kind of merge them into one and drop all of that stuff into Avalon, which honestly, I think I'm fine with. I mean, remember, we're talking about Call of Duty here, right? It's not like the Call of Duty lore has ever been some really deep, cohesive narrative. So if they want to pull different bits and pieces from some of the different games and try and combine and construct that stuff into some kind of overarching narrative, there's some story they want to tell moving into the future, I say, fine, let them go ahead and do that. I have no problems with that at all. Personally, I am far more concerned with the gameplay, so let's get into that next. Now, we already knew that the main campaign was going to be able to be played either co-op or multiplayer, that's still true, and we also knew that the main setting was going to be Avalon. And the way that this was initially presented to us, it really sounded like everything was going to take place in this Avalon open world, which honestly was a little bit concerning when you consider the fact that open world aspects of previous Call of Duty titles have not been great and they haven't exactly gone over well. Fortunately, we now have a little bit more information. So Avalon is indeed going to be an open world, and it's going to sort of function as the main hub for all of the narrative that takes place within the main campaign. So Avalon will kind of be like the home base, it sounds like. It's where you go back to, and Avalon is where you'll pick up different sort of like story leads and clues, and you will follow those story threads and you'll follow those clues, and those will lead you into different missions that will then launch from that main hub. Now, here's where it gets interesting and where it sounds like there's a little bit of hope, I guess. So these different stories that are going to launch from Avalon, they are first and foremost going to take place, all over the world. And the important thing here is those missions that launch from Avalon, these are going to be the more traditional Call of Duty style linear missions that are going to have your big action movie set pieces and all of the stuff that you have come to expect from a Call of Duty campaign. And in my opinion, all of the things that make a Call of Duty campaign unique and interesting and fun and quite frankly worth playing. I mean, let's be real here, those big Michael Bay style action movie explosions and set pieces where you're launching a motorcycle into a helicopter, these are the very reason that I even bother to play a Call of Duty campaign. Anyway, as you progress through the campaign, you're going to have a handful of different operators that you're going to be able to play with. And as you play with those operators and progress with each operator individually, you're going to level those operators up and you will unlock new skills and abilities as you go. These new skills and abilities are going to make each individual operator more powerful, and they are going to carry over with that operator into what they are calling the end game. The EndGame is a brand new game mode being introduced with Black Ops 7. It is a co-op game mode that takes place after the campaign inside of the open world of Avalon with up to 32 other players. The whole point of this game mode is that it's designed to be replayable. And as you replay through this game mode with all of the different operators, each and every one of those operators will individually continue to level up and advance, unlock new skills and abilities. And as you unlock these new skills and abilities, each of those operators will in turn become more powerful, allowing you to take on more powerful challenges inside of the endgame. And I know what you're already asking, because I was asking the same thing. Why on earth would I play this when I could just go play multiplayer or zombies instead? Well, enter global progression. So global progression is a new system, and basically what this means is that all of those avenues of progression that would traditionally open up when you started playing multiplayer and zombies are now going to open up as soon as you start playing the campaign, and are going to include additional paths and rewards that are exclusive to the campaign and the end game. So think things like your prestige level, unlocking and leveling up guns, attachments, perks, different calling cards. All of that stuff is now going to not only exist within multiplayer and zombies, but will also exist within the campaign. All right, so I think that pretty much wraps up the campaign. Let's move right along to multiplayer, starting with maps. So it is now confirmed that the game is going to launch with 16 6v6 traditional multiplayer maps. 13 of those maps are going to be brand new for Black Ops 7, and 3 of those maps are going to be Black Ops 2 remasters. In addition to those 16 6v6 traditional multiplayer maps, we are also getting 2 new large-scale maps for a brand new 20v20 game mode called Skirmish. From their description, Skirmish does sound legitimately interesting. It sounds like this is going to be an objective-based game mode. It's going to take place, of course, on these larger maps, and we're going to get things like wingsuits, grappling hooks, and vehicles to play with. So it definitely sounds like this could shake up the multiplayer gameplay. Could be a really solid addition, but we're just going to have to wait and see how things pan out. All right, let's talk about weapons. So Black Ops 7 is going to be launching with a total of 30 new weapons. I do believe this includes melee weapons, so just to be brutally honest, this doesn't sound like a lot. They are going to be including 16 brand new weapons that have never been in the Call of Duty franchise. However, we got to ask ourselves, what exactly does this mean? Most likely because they really seem to be pushing this 2035 aesthetic, especially for the weapons. This means that those 16 brand new weapons are probably going to be fictional weapons. I am not a huge fan of fictional weapons. One of the things that I have always liked about Black Ops in particular, and especially the Black Ops games set in the 80s and 90s, was the inclusion of real-world weapons that, we're all familiar with from TVs and movies. For example, we just got the Steyr AUG in Black Ops 6, which is just an awesome, iconic weapon. It was in the original Die Hard, so yeah, I don't really know how I feel about 16 of these weapons just potentially being purely fictional sci-fi. But, again, we're just going to have to see how they play. They are going to be bringing back weapon prestige, so there's one more avenue of progression. It seems like in general they're really focusing on progression systems with this release. Weapon prestige is going to include 2 levels of prestige, weapon prestige 1 and 2, and then a weapon master prestige track. So far we know that weapon prestige rewards will include things like exclusive attachments and camos. Speaking of attachments, the weapon build system is finally getting a feature that I know some people will be excited about: build sharing. Every time you generate a weapon build, that weapon build will generate a unique code. You can share that code with others, and by inputting that code, they will get that exact weapon build. In addition to weapon prestige, Black Ops 7 is introducing a brand new progression system for equipment called OverClocking. OverClocking applies to basically everything that isn't weapons, so that's score streaks, field upgrades, and equipment. In their own words, overclocking is described as every successful use of your score streaks, field upgrade, and equipment becomes a step towards unlocking their full potential as you enhance your arsenal over time, earning gameplay improvements and enhanced functionality. Personally, I see this going one of 2 ways. This could add interesting ways to customize your equipment, opening up different styles of gameplay, or it could just mean that when you first unlock a score streak or a piece of equipment, you're just going to be unlocking a nerfed version of that score streak or piece of equipment, and you're going to have to level it up over time to get its full potential. Finally, let's talk about perks, because they're getting some changes as well in the form of hybrid combat specialties. So currently in Black Ops 6, if you choose 3 perks of the same color, you'll get a bonus called a combat specialty. This basically acts like an extra perk. Well, combat specialties are coming back to Black Ops 7, but in addition to the normal combat specialties that you would get from choosing any perks of the same color, you will get additional hybrid combat specialties by choosing any combination of perks from 2 colors. So, for example, 2 blue and 1 red. You're going to get a different combat specialty for that than you would get from choosing, say, all blue perks. So any combination of perks, 2 one color, 1 from another color, is going to yield some different combination combat specialty. And all in all, looking at the different additions and changes to the Black Ops 7 multiplayer build system, 2 things stand out to me. The first is, of course, progression, but the second thing that stands out to me is customizability or flexibility. At this first glance, it does really look like they're aiming to create a build system in Black Ops 7 that's going to offer a lot more variety in how you can build out and play your character. That was one of the really big drawbacks to Black Ops 6, is that the build system was just so meta-heavy, locked in, and stale. There just wasn't a lot of flexibility, so it's really good to see that at the very least it appears that they're aiming for more of that flexibility in Black Ops 7. And finally, the last thing to talk about when it comes to multiplayer is movement. So Omni movement is of course staying, but it's also going to be changing. So all of the Omni movement that we're used to, sliding and diving in different directions, it sounds like all of that's going to stay. And in addition to that, they're adding what they are calling a wall jump. This isn't exactly rocket boots. It also isn't exactly a wall run. The wall jump sounds more like exactly what it's describing, kind of like a Mario wall jump. You'll be able to jump into a wall, and when you make contact with that wall, you'll be able to basically initiate a second jump off of that wall. This is going to allow you to traverse larger distances like wider gaps. It's also supposed to allow you to get up to previously inaccessible areas and ledges. So, again, we're just going to have to see how this plays out. I know Omni movement has been a bit of a contentious topic. Some people really like it. Some people really don't. I think at this point, we just have to accept the fact that it is a reality of the franchise. And if you like it, great. If you don't like it, we just have to adapt. One really good thing that's coming, though, is an adjustment to tactical sprint. By adjustment, I mean they're basically removing it. So you know how Slipstream works now. You can take Slipstream as a perk to get rid of tactical sprint. So they're just going to be flipping that on its head. So basically, Slipstream is going to be the default tactical sprint will be removed by default, and if you want tactical sprint back, you can get it back by taking a perk. I think this is a hugely positive change because I think that tactical sprint is mostly useless for most people unless you have some very specific build or reason why you want that extra level of sprint. All right, and finally, we have one last game mode that we need to talk about, and that is, of course, zombies. Now, there isn't a ton of information out yet on zombies, so we're going to kind of do this in rapid fire. First and foremost, zombies will, of course, be round-based. It is a Treyarch game after all. I don't think that's much of a surprise. However, we are getting new vehicle gameplay that takes players, quote, across a massive set of new locations. So it does sound like we are going to be getting much larger zombie maps, possibly multiple maps that are tied together, and vehicles that we can use to traverse those maps. In addition to the standard round-based maps, we are also going to be getting survival maps for the first time since Black Ops 2, and I think the by far most exciting thing for me, the return of Dead Ops Arcade in Dead Ops Arcade 4. If you're not familiar with Dead Ops Arcade, it is just absolutely fantastic. Dead Ops Arcade is like a top-down twin-stick shooter version of zombies. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait to play this. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. Everything new for Black Ops 7. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, do the right thing, give me a like and possibly a subscribe. I know the channel's new, but I'm going to be covering Call of Duty, Battlefield 6, and pretty much anything else that I find interesting. I'm not going anywhere, so it would be absolutely rad to have you along for the ride, be part of the community, so hit that subscribe button. I'm also streaming pretty much every weeknight that I possibly can on Twitch, 8:30 to 11-ish Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be streaming on Saturdays as well. That's Grip It by the Husk on Twitch. If you're not already there, honestly, I don't know what you're doing. Get it together. Stop by the Twitch channel, jump in the chat, say hi. I'll see you when you get there. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one real soon.